When Elon Musk opened his email that Tuesday morning, he had no idea his entire life was about to change. Sitting in his office in Texas, staring at his computer screen, his hands started to shake. The subject line was simple but terrifying. "We need to talk about Kai." Sender, Marina Castellanos, his ex-wife. A woman he hadn't heard from in 18 years of silence, 18 years of questions, 18 years of wondering what happened to his son. Now she wanted to meet, at a small cafe in Austin. The very next day, Elon's mind raced back to the day Marina left. She'd handed him divorce papers on a cold December morning and said 5 words that haunted him ever since. "I don't love you anymore." Then she disappeared with their baby boy Kai. No explanation, no forwarding address, just gone. For 3 years Elon searched. He hired private investigators. He sent 53 letters that all came back marked "Return to Sender." He spent sleepless nights wondering what he'd done wrong, why his own son had been taken from him. Eventually he gave up. He convinced himself that Kai was better off without him, that Marina had probably told the boy his father didn't want him. So Elon buried himself in his work. SpaceX, Tesla. Anything to forget the son he'd lost. But now, after 18 years, Marina wanted to talk. The next day, Elon walked into that cafe 15 minutes early. His heart pounded as he waited. And when Marina finally walked through the door, he barely recognized her. She was thinner. Her hair was streaked with gray. And the way she moved, slow and careful, like every step hurt, told him something was very, very wrong. They sat down. The tension was thick. Elon spoke first, his voice cold and angry. 18 years, Marina. 18 years and not a single word. Why? Marina's hands shook as she wrapped them around her teacup. "I know," she whispered, "and I'm not here to ask for forgiveness. I'm here because Kai deserves the truth, and so do you." Then she told him something that made his blood run cold, something about a terrible disease, something about an impossible choice she'd made when Kai was just a baby, something she'd been hiding all these years. But just as she was about to reveal the full truth, just as Elon was finally going to understand why she'd stolen 18 years of his son's life, Marina's hand started trembling uncontrollably. Her eyes rolled back, and she collapsed right there in the cafe. Everything Elon thought he knew was about to be shattered. The truth Marina had been hiding wasn't just about why she left. It was something much bigger, much more devastating. A secret that would change everything Elon believed about his son, about Marina, and about the last 18 years. What was Marina hiding? Why did she really take Kai and disappear? And what was the truth that would leave even Elon Musk, a man who'd built rockets and electric cars, completely silent? Watch this whole video to find out the shocking truth that Marina revealed. A truth so powerful it would either destroy this broken family forever, or somehow bring them back together after nearly 2 decades apart. The answer will leave you speechless. Elon Musk stared at his computer screen. His coffee had gone cold an hour ago. Outside his office window, the Texas sun was setting. The sky looked like fire, but Elon wasn't looking at the sunset. He was looking at an email that made his hands shake. The subject line was simple: "We need to talk about Kai." The sender's name made his heart stop: Marina Castellanos. Elon hadn't heard that name in 18 years, 18 long years of silence, 18 years of wondering, 18 years of trying to forget. Marina was his first wife, the woman he'd loved with his whole heart, the woman who had left him without warning, the woman who had taken their baby son and disappeared like smoke. Kai, their son. The boy would be 18 years old now, a man really. Elon had missed everything: first steps, first words. First day of school, baseball games, birthday parties, everything. Elon's finger hovered over the mouse. Should he open it? Should he delete it? Should he pretend he never saw it? His hand moved on its own. He clicked. The email was short. "Dear Elon, I know I have no right to contact you after all these years. I know you probably hate me. You should hate me, but this isn't about me. This is about Kai. He's 18 now. He just turned 18 last month. He's a man now and he deserves to know his father. He deserves the truth. I need to see you face to face. There are things I need to tell you, things I should have told you a long time ago. I'm in Austin. I know that's where you are now. Can we meet tomorrow? There's a small cafe on 6th Street called the Broken Cup. I'll be there at 2 p.m. Please come. This matters more than you know. Marina." Elon read it 3 times, then 4, then 5. Anger burned in his chest like hot coal. How dare she? How dare she contact him now after stealing 18 years of his son's life? after making him believe he was a bad father, after letting him send letters that were never answered. He pushed back from his desk and stood up. His legs felt weak. He walked to the window and pressed his forehead against the cool glass. Memories flooded back like a dam breaking. Marina holding baby Kai in the hospital, her dark hair falling around her face, her eyes full of tears and joy. "He has your eyes," she'd whispered, Kai learning to crawl. Elon had put important work papers all over the living room floor. The baby had crawled right over them, drooling and laughing. Marina had laughed too. Elon had pretended to be annoyed, but inside his heart had felt so full he thought it might burst. Then the divorce. Sudden. Brutal. Marina's lawyer had handed him papers one Tuesday morning. "My client no longer wishes to remain married," the lawyer had said. Cold, professional, like their love had meant nothing. Elon had begged Marina to explain, to talk to him, to try counseling. But she'd looked at him with empty eyes and said, "I don't love you anymore, Elon. That's all you need to know." 2 weeks later, she was gone. She'd taken Kai and vanished, changed her phone number, moved with no forwarding address. His private investigators had searched for 3 years before Elon finally gave up. He'd convinced himself that Kai was better off without him, that Marina had probably told the boy his father didn't want him, that trying to force his way back into their lives would only hurt Kai more. So he'd buried himself in work, SpaceX, Tesla, every crazy dream he could chase. Anything to avoid thinking about the son he'd lost. Now Marina wanted to talk about Kai. Elon turned back to his desk. He opened the bottom drawer, the one he rarely opened anymore. Inside was a small wooden box. His hands shook as he lifted it out. He opened the lid slowly. Inside were photographs. Marina holding newborn Kai, her face glowing with love. Kai at 6 months, smiling a toothless smile. Kai taking his first wobbly steps, reaching for Elon with chubby hands. At the bottom of the box was one more photo. Elon picked it up carefully, like it might break. It showed Marina holding baby Kai, but something was different in this picture. Marina was crying, not happy tears, sad tears, the kind of tears that come from a broken heart. Elon turned the photo over. On the back, in Marina's handwriting, were 6 words that he'd read 1,000 times but never understood. "Forgive me for what I must do, M." Elon sat down hard in his chair. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., the Broken Cup Cafe. After 18 years of silence, he was finally going to get answers. He just wasn't sure he was ready to hear them. Elon couldn't sleep that night. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, watching shadows move across the white paint. His mind kept pulling him backward, back to 2007, back to when everything fell apart. He closed his eyes and let the memories come. Spring 2007. Marina had been humming in the kitchen. Elon remembered that. She was always humming when she was happy. That morning she'd been making pancakes for little Kai, who sat in his high chair, banging a plastic spoon and laughing. "Da-da, da-da," Kai had squealed when Elon walked in. Elon had scooped up his son, tossing him gently in the air. Kai's giggles filled the whole house. Marina had smiled at them, her dark eyes warm and full of love. "My 2 favorite boys," she'd said. Life had been good then. Hard but good. Elon was working crazy hours on Tesla and SpaceX. Both companies were struggling. Money was tight. The stress was enormous. But coming home to Marina and Kai made it all worth it. Marina never complained. She'd been a successful architect before they married, but she'd put her career on hold to raise Kai. She said she didn't mind. She said watching their son grow was the best job in the world. Elon had believed her. He should have looked closer. Summer 2007. The first sign had been so small. Elon had missed it completely. They'd been at the park. Kai was learning to walk, stumbling around on chubby toddler legs. Marina had been sitting on a bench, watching. Her hands had been shaking. "You okay?" Elon had asked. "Just tired," Marina had said quickly, too quickly. "I didn't sleep well last night." She'd pulled her hands into her lap, hiding them. Elon had gone back to chasing Kai around the playground. He'd been so focused on his son that he hadn't noticed the fear in Marina's eyes. A few weeks later, Marina had started dropping things. A coffee cup that shattered on the kitchen floor, her car keys that slipped from her fingers, a plate that crashed during dinner. "I'm so clumsy lately," she'd laughed. But the laugh had sounded wrong, forced. "Maybe you should see a doctor," Elon had suggested. "It's nothing," Marina had insisted. "Just new mom tiredness. Kai still wakes up twice a night." Elon had let it go. He'd been so busy, so distracted by work problems. Tesla was nearly bankrupt. SpaceX had just had another rocket failure. He was barely keeping his head above water. He should have paid more attention. Fall 2007. One night in September, Elon had come home late. Again, it was past midnight. The house was dark except for one lamp in the living room. Marina was sitting on the couch, still dressed, staring at nothing. "Marina, what's wrong?" She'd looked up at him. Her eyes were red from crying. "I went to the doctor today," she'd said softly. Elon's stomach had dropped. "What did they say?" "They ran some tests. They want to run more tests." Her voice had been flat, empty. "They're worried about something." "What's something?" "Marina, talk to me." But she'd stood up and walked to the bedroom without another word. That was when things started to change. Marina became distant, quiet. She stopped humming in the kitchen. She stopped smiling at Elon the way she used to. When he tried to hold her at night, she'd turn away. "Are you having an affair?" Elon had asked one night, desperate to understand. "No," Marina had whispered. "I would never do that to you." "Then what's happening? Please, Marina, talk to me." "I can't," she'd said, and she'd started crying, deep, painful sobs that shook her whole body. Elon had held her while she cried, but she wouldn't tell him what was wrong. Winter 2007. Doctor appointments became more frequent. Marina went alone. She never told Elon what the doctors said. When he asked, she'd change the subject or leave the room. She started keeping a journal, a small leather notebook that she carried everywhere. She'd write in it when she thought Elon wasn't looking. Once he'd tried to read it while she was showering, but she'd locked it with a tiny key that she wore on a chain around her neck. "Why won't you let me in?" Elon had begged. "Whatever it is, we can face it together." Marina had touched his face gently. Her hand had trembled against his cheek. "Some things," she'd whispered, "are better faced alone." "That's not true. We're a team, Marina. You, me, and Kai. We're a family." She'd pulled her hand away. "Not for much longer." Those words had terrified him. What does that mean? But Marina had walked away without answering. The last day. It was a Tuesday in December, cold and gray. Elon had been in his office trying to solve an impossible engineering problem. His phone had buzzed. A text from Marina: "Can you come home early today? We need to talk." Elon's hands had gone cold. Those words, "We need to talk." Everyone knew what those words meant. He'd driven home in a daze. The house had been too quiet when he walked in. No humming, no baby sounds, no Marina calling out a greeting. "Marina," he'd called. She'd been sitting at the kitchen table. There were papers spread out in front of her. Legal papers, divorce papers. "What is this?" Elon had felt like someone had punched him in the chest. "I'm sorry," Marina had said. Her voice had been calm, too calm, like she'd practiced this speech 100 times. "This isn't working anymore. I don't love you the way I used to. I want a divorce." "You don't mean that. Marina, please. Whatever's wrong, we can fix it." "No," she'd said firmly. "We can't. Some things can't be fixed, Elon." "Is this about the work? I know I've been busy, but I can change. I can work less. I can." "It's not about your work." Marina had stood up. She'd walked to the window, her back to him. "It's about me. I need a different life. A quieter life, away from all of this." "Away from me," Elon had said quietly. Marina hadn't answered. "What about Kai?" "Kai comes with me." Marina's voice had been steel. "I have full custody. It's all in the papers." "No," Elon had stood up, panic rising in his throat. "No, you can't take my son. I already have a lawyer. I've already filed the papers. This is happening, Elon." "Marina, please." He'd reached for her, but she'd stepped back. "Please don't do this. I love you. I love Kai. We can work this out." She'd finally turned to look at him. Tears had been streaming down her face. "I'm sorry," she'd whispered. "I'm so sorry, but this is how it has to be." "Why? Just tell me why." But Marina had walked out of the kitchen. A minute later, he'd heard the front door close. Through the window, he'd watched her load baby Kai into the car. Kai had been crying, reaching back toward the house, toward his father. Elon had run outside. "Marina, Marina, wait." But she'd driven away. That was the last time he'd seen his son, present day. Elon opened his eyes. His pillow was wet. He'd been crying in his sleep. The clock said 5:30 a.m. In 8.5 hours, he'd see Marina again after 18 years of silence, after 18 years of questions. He got out of bed and walked to his closet. In the back, hidden behind his clothes, was a cardboard box. Inside were the letters. 53 letters he'd written to Kai over 3 years. Letters about life and space and dreams. Letters saying he loved his son and missed him. Letters asking Kai to forgive him for whatever he'd done wrong. All of them had been returned. Returned to sender stamped across the envelopes. After the 53rd letter came back, Elon had stopped trying. He told himself it was for Kai's good. That Marina had probably poisoned the boy against him. That forcing himself into their lives would only hurt everyone more. But really, Elon had just been afraid. Afraid of rejection. Afraid of facing the pain. Afraid of the truth. Now 18 years later, Marina wanted to talk about Kai. Elon looked at the photograph on his dresser, baby Kai smiling and reaching for the camera. "I'm coming, son," Elon whispered to the picture. "Finally, I'm coming." He just hoped it wasn't too late. Elon arrived at the Broken Cup Cafe at 1:45 p.m., 15 minutes early. He never liked being late, but today being early felt important. He needed to be in control of something, even if it was just when he walked through a door. The cafe was small and quiet, old wooden tables, mismatched chairs, the smell of coffee and cinnamon in the air. A young woman with purple hair stood behind the counter wiping down the espresso machine. "Can I help you?" she asked. "Just coffee, black." Elon's voice sounded strange to his own ears, tight, nervous. He paid and took his cup to a table in the back corner. He wanted to see the door. He wanted to see Marina the moment she walked in. His security team was outside, waiting in a black SUV. Elon had told them to stay in the vehicle unless he called. This conversation needed to be private. He checked his watch. 1:52 p.m. His coffee sat untouched in front of him. Stomach was twisted into knots. He couldn't remember the last time he'd felt this nervous. Maybe never. The door chimed. Elon looked up, and there she was. Marina Castellano stepped into the cafe, and Elon felt like someone had stolen all the air from his lungs. She was different, so different. The Marina he remembered had been full of life. Bright eyes, quick smile. She'd moved through the world like a dancer, graceful and sure. Her dark hair had been long and thick, always pulled back in a ponytail. This Marina was a shadow of that woman. She was thinner, much thinner. Her hair was cut short now and streaked with gray that seemed too early for a woman of 43. She wore a long-sleeved shirt despite the Texas heat and loose pants that hid her shape. But it was the way she moved that made Elon's heart sink. She walked carefully, slowly, like each step required thought and planning. Her right hand gripped her purse strapped tightly. Her left hand hung at her side, and even from across the cafe, Elon could see it trembling. Their eyes met. For a moment, neither of them moved. They just stared at each other across the space of 18 years. Then Marina walked toward him. "Hello, Elon," she said quietly. Her voice was the same. That at least hadn't changed. "Marina." Elon stood up. His chair scraped loudly against the floor. "Sit down, please." She lowered herself into the chair across from him. Her movements were careful and deliberate. She set her purse on the table, and Elon saw that her hands were shaking more than he'd first noticed. "Do you want coffee?" he asked. "Or tea? Or—" "Tea would be nice, thank you." Elon went to the counter and ordered. His mind was racing. Something was wrong with Marina. Very wrong. The shaking hands, the careful movements, the premature gray hair. She was sick. He brought the tea back to the table. Marina wrapped both hands around the cup, and Elon realized she was trying to hide the tremors. They sat in silence for a long moment. Outside, cars drove past. Inside, the espresso machine hissed and gurgled. The purple-haired barista hummed along to music only she could hear. "You look good," Marina said finally. "Older but good. Success suits you." "Don't." Elon's voice came out harder than he meant. "Don't make small talk with me, Marina. Not after 18 years. She flinched but nodded. "You're right, I'm sorry." "Why am I here?" Elon leaned forward. "Your email said we need to talk about Kai. So talk. Tell me about my son. The son I haven't seen since he was a baby." Marina looked down at her tea. "He's tall, 6'2". He has your build, your intensity. But he has my eyes and my hair, or well, my hair before." She touched her gray-streaked head with a trembling hand. "Is he healthy? Is he happy? Does he hate me?" "He doesn't hate you." Marina's voice was soft. "He's confused, angry, hurt, but he doesn't hate you." "Why did you do it?" The question burst out of Elon like a dam breaking. "Why did you take him? Why did you disappear? I sent letters, Marina, 53 letters. You sent them all back." "I know. I hired investigators. They searched for 3 years." "I know. I thought," Elon's voice cracked. I thought I'd done something terrible. I thought you hated me so much that you'd rather raise our son alone than let me be his father." Marina's eyes filled with tears. "I never hated you, Elon, not for one single day." "Then why?" Elon slammed his hand on the table. The purple-haired barista looked over, startled. Elon lowered his voice. "Just tell me why." Marina took a deep breath. Her hands shook harder around the teacup. "Because I was diagnosed with Huntington's disease." The words hung in the air between them. Elon stared at her. "What?" "Huntington's disease. It's a genetic condition, progressive, terminal." Marina's voice was steady now, like she'd practiced this speech many times. "I was diagnosed in November of 2007, right before I left you." Elon felt like the floor had dropped out from under him. "Huntington's? I don't understand. Why didn't you tell me?" "Because there's no cure, Elon, because I knew what was coming. The tremors, the loss of motor control, the cognitive decline. Eventually, I won't be able to walk or speak or even recognize my own face in the mirror." A tear rolled down her cheek. "And because Huntington's is genetic, Kai had a 50% chance of inheriting it from me." The world seemed to tilt sideways. 50% chance. Their son. Did he? Elon couldn't finish the sentence. His throat had closed up. "That's not why I called you here," Marina said firmly. "Kai's test results are his story to tell, not mine. If he wants you to know, he'll tell you himself." "Marina." "No," she shook her head. "I made too many decisions for both of you already. I won't make this one too." Elon sat back in his chair. His mind was spinning. Huntington's disease, he knew about it vaguely, a terrible disease, no cure, no treatment that really worked. "The doctors told me stress could make it progress faster," Marina continued. "They said I needed calm, stability. They said emotional upheaval could accelerate the symptoms." "So you left me." Elon's voice was hollow. "I left you because your life was chaos, Elon. Beautiful, brilliant chaos, but chaos all the same. 2 companies on the verge of bankruptcy, working 100 hours a week, sleeping at the office, the pressure, the stress, the constant crisis." Marina's voice grew softer. "I knew if I told you about my diagnosis, you'd try to fix it. You'd throw all your energy into finding a cure. You'd neglect the companies. Tesla and SpaceX would fail. And when I died anyway, because I am going to die, Elon, you'd blame yourself. That should have been my choice." Elon's voice rose again. "You should have let me decide." "You're right." Marina wiped her eyes with a napkin. Her hand trembled so badly that the napkin fluttered like a leaf in wind. "You're absolutely right. I was wrong. I was scared and wrong, and I made everything worse." Elon stood up abruptly. He walked to the window and pressed his forehead against the glass. Outside, people walked past, living normal lives, lives that made sense. "How long?" he asked without turning around. "What?" "How long have you had symptoms?" "They started about 5 years ago. Mild at first, just the tremors. Now," Marina's voice trailed off, "now it's getting harder." Elon turned around. "Why did you contact me now, after all this time? Why not 5 years ago, or 10? Marina looked up at him. Her brown eyes, the eyes Kai had inherited, were full of pain and something else, something like desperation. "Because Kai needs you," she said simply. "He turned 18 last month. He's legally an adult now. He found my medical records. He learned about Huntington's. He learned about you, the real you, not the story I told him." "What story did you tell him?" Marina looked away. "I told him you were too busy to be a father, that your work mattered more than family, that you agreed it was better if we left." Anger flared hot in Elon's chest. "You made him think I didn't want him." "Yes," Marina's voice was barely a whisper. "I made him think that. I made you the villain so he wouldn't look for you, so he wouldn't try to come back, so he could have a peaceful, quiet childhood in Montana, away from the spotlight and the chaos." "Montana." "A small town called Whitefish. We've been there for 18 years. I worked at the library. Kai went to public school. We had a quiet life." Marina's hands shook harder. "Until he found the truth. And now? Now he's angry, at me for lying, at you for not finding us, at the universe for Huntington's disease." Marina met Elon's eyes. "He got tested 6 months ago, on his 18th birthday. He wanted to know if he had it." "Marina, please, just tell me." "No," she cut him off. "That's his story. But I'll tell you this, whether he has it or not, he needs his father. He needs you, Elon. I can't be what he needs anymore. I'm getting worse every day. Soon I'll need full-time care. Kai will be alone. Elon walked back to the table and sat down heavily. You should have told me 18 years ago. I know. We could have faced this together. I know. I would have helped. I would have been there. I know, Marina's voice broke. I know all of that now, but I was young and scared and I thought I was protecting you both. I thought I was being brave, but I was just a coward. Just then Marina's right hand jerked violently. Her teacup tipped over, spilling hot liquid across the table. She gasped and tried to grab the cup, but her hand wouldn't cooperate. Elon jumped up and grabbed napkins, soaking up the tea. The purple-haired barista rushed over with a towel. I'm so sorry, Marina whispered. Her face was red with embarrassment. This happens now. I can't control it. Elon's anger melted away, replaced by something else, something that felt like grief. This was Marina, his first love, the mother of his child, and she was falling apart right in front of him. He sat back down and took her trembling hands in his. She tried to pull away, but he held on gently. When can I meet him? Elon asked quietly. When can I meet Kai? Marina looked up, surprise in her eyes. You want to meet him, even after everything? He's my son, Marina. He's always been my son. 18 years didn't change that. Fresh tears rolled down Marina's cheeks. He's here, in Austin. He came with me. He's waiting at our hotel, terrified that you won't want to see him. Give me the address. I'll go right now. Elon, wait. Marina gripped his hands tighter. Her whole body was shaking now. There's something else you need to know about the test results, about why I really called you. Elon's heart was pounding. What is it? Marina opened her mouth to speak, and then her whole body went rigid. Her eyes rolled back. She made a choking sound. Marina, Elon jumped up. Marina, what's happening? The cafe manager rushed over. I'm calling 911. Marina's body began to convulse. She slid out of the chair and collapsed on the floor, shaking violently. Elon dropped to his knees beside her. Marina, stay with me. But she couldn't hear him. Her eyes were closed. Her body jerked and twisted. Within minutes, sirens wailed outside. Paramedics rushed in with a stretcher and medical equipment. Are you family? One of them asked Elon. Yes, Elon said without hesitation. I'm her husband. Ex-husband, technically, but in that moment it didn't matter. They loaded Marina into the ambulance. Elon climbed in beside her. As the ambulance raced toward the hospital, Marina's eyes fluttered open for just a moment. Kai, she whispered. Tell Kai, the test. Then her eyes closed again, and Elon was left with half an answer and 1,000 more questions. The hospital waiting room smelled like antiseptic and fear. Elon sat in a plastic chair that was too small for him, his elbows on his knees, his head in his hands. He'd been there for 2 hours. The doctors had taken Marina back immediately. Seizure, they'd said, common with Huntington's disease in the later stages. They were running tests and stabilizing her. Elon's phone buzzed in his pocket. He'd been ignoring it, texts from his assistant, emails about meetings he was missing. None of it mattered right now. He needed to call Kai. Marina had said their son was at a hotel waiting to hear if his father even wanted to meet him. But what would Elon say? Hi, I'm your dad. Your mom just had a seizure. Want to meet at the hospital? No, that wasn't right. Elon stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the sun was still shining. Life was still happening. It seemed wrong somehow. Mr. Musk. Elon turned. A doctor stood in the doorway. She was young, with kind eyes and tired shoulders. How is she? Elon asked. Stable. The seizure has stopped. We've given her medication to prevent another one. The doctor walked closer, her voice professional but gentle. Are you aware of Ms. Castellanos' medical history? Huntington's disease. She just told me today. The doctor nodded. Her progression is more advanced than she may have let on. The tremors, the seizures, the loss of motor control, these are signs that the disease is accelerating. How long does she have? The question hurt to ask. That's difficult to say. Huntington's progresses differently in everyone, but based on her current symptoms, I'd estimate she has perhaps 2 to 5 years before she requires full-time care, maybe less. Elon felt something crack inside his chest. Can I see her? She's resting now. But yes, once she's awake, you can see her. She's been asking for someone named Kai. Her son, our son. Elon pulled out his phone. I need to call him. The doctor put a hand on his arm. Mr. Musk, before you do, there's something you should know. Ms. Castellanos was very agitated when we were treating her. She kept trying to tell us something about test results, something about Kai needing to tell you himself. Elon's stomach dropped. The genetic test. Yes, I can't share patient information without consent, but I wanted you to be aware that this is weighing heavily on her mind. After the doctor left, Elon stood alone in the hallway. His hands shook as he pulled Marina's purse from the chair where the paramedics had left it. Inside, he found her phone. It wasn't locked. The last number called was saved under Kai, my heart. Elon's finger hovered over the call button. 18 years. 18 years since he'd heard his son's voice. He pressed call. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Mom, a young man's voice answered, deep, nervous. Mom, are you okay? You've been gone for hours. I was starting to worry. This isn't your mom. Elon's voice came out rougher than he intended. I'm Elon Musk. Silence on the other end, complete total silence. Kai, are you there? Yes, the word was barely a whisper. Yes, I'm here. Your mom is in the hospital. She's okay. She's stable, but she had a seizure at the cafe. I'm at St. David's Medical Center. I thought you should know. More silence. Then, is she awake? Not yet. The doctors gave her medicine. She needs to rest. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Kai's voice was tight, controlled, like he was holding back a flood of emotions. Kai, wait. But the line went dead. Elon stared at the phone in his hand. In 20 minutes he'd meet his son, his 18-year-old son who was a complete stranger. He walked to the bathroom and looked at himself in the mirror. He looked old, tired. His hair was messy. His eyes were red. Pull yourself together, he told his reflection. This is your son. Kai arrived in 15 minutes, not 20. Elon was standing in the hallway when he heard running footsteps. He turned and saw a young man burst through the double doors, his eyes wild and searching. For a moment, Elon couldn't breathe. Kai was tall. Marina had been right about that. 6'2" with broad shoulders and a lean build. He had Marina's dark, curly hair and olive skin. But the shape of his face, the intensity in his eyes, the way he moved with purpose and urgency, that was all Elon. It was like looking at a ghost of himself at 18. Kai's eyes locked on Elon. He froze mid-step. Father and son stared at each other across the hospital hallway. Kai's voice cracked. You're really here. I'm here, Elon said quietly. Kai's face twisted with emotion. Anger, fear, hope, pain, all of it flashing across his features in seconds. Where's my mom? Room 412, 4th floor. She's sleeping, but the nurses said you can sit with her. Kai moved toward the elevator without another word. Elon followed. They stood side by side in the elevator, not speaking, not looking at each other. The silence was so thick it felt like a physical thing. The elevator dinged. 4th floor. Kai walked out quickly. Elon followed more slowly, giving his son space. Outside room 412, Kai stopped. His hand was on the door handle, but he didn't open it. His shoulders were shaking. She's going to be okay, Elon said softly. The doctor said so. For now, Kai's voice was bitter. But Huntington's doesn't stop. It just keeps taking and taking until there's nothing left. I know. Kai spun around. His eyes were red with tears he was fighting to hold back. You know, where have you been for 18 years? Where were you when she started getting sick? Where were you when she couldn't hold a coffee cup without dropping it? Where were you when she fell down the stairs and broke her wrist because her legs stopped working right? Each question hit Elon like a punch. I didn't know. Because she didn't tell you, Kai's voice rose. A nurse down the hall looked over with concern. Kai lowered his voice, but the anger burned just as hot. She didn't tell you because she thought you were too busy, too important, too focused on changing the world to care about your own family. That's not true. Isn't it? Kai's laugh was harsh. I've read about you, Elon. I've seen the articles, the interviews. You work 100 hours a week. You have 5 other kids with other women. You're a genius, a visionary, a man who's going to take humanity to Mars. His voice broke. But you couldn't find time for me. I tried. Elon stepped closer. I sent letters, 53 letters. Your mom sent them all back. Kai flinched. I know, I found them last year, boxes of them hidden in the attic. You found them? Yeah, letters about space and rockets and dreams. Letters saying you loved me. Letters asking me to forgive you. Kai wiped his eyes angrily. But you gave up, didn't you? After 3 years, you just stopped trying. I thought, Elon's voice was thick with emotion. I thought I was making things worse. Your mom made it clear she didn't want me in your lives. I thought you'd be better off without me. Well, you thought wrong. Kai turned back to the door. Mom needed you, I needed you, but you chose rockets over us. Kai, please, let me explain. There's nothing to explain. Kai opened the door to Marina's room. You made your choice 18 years ago. Now I'm making mine. Walked into the room and closed the door in Elon's face. Elon stood in the hallway staring at the closed door. Through the small window he could see Kai pulling a chair up to Marina's bedside. He took her hand gently, carefully, mindful of her tremors. Marina's eyes fluttered open. Even from outside, Elon could see the relief on her face when she saw her son. Kai leaned forward and said something. Marina nodded. They were talking, but Elon couldn't hear through the thick door. He should leave. Give them privacy. This was their moment, but his feet wouldn't move. For 18 years he'd missed moments like this, moments of connection between mother and son. He couldn't tear himself away, even though watching hurt worse than any physical pain. A nurse approached. Sir, visiting hours are almost over. Are you family? Yes, Elon said. I'm the father. The nurse smiled kindly. They need some time together right now. Why don't you go get some coffee? Come back in an hour. I'm sure things will be calmer then. Elon nodded and walked to the elevator, but he didn't go to the cafeteria. Instead, he found an empty waiting room on the same floor. He sat down and pulled out his phone. He opened his photo gallery, scrolled back, way back, to pictures he'd saved from 18 years ago. Baby Kai in the hospital minutes after being born. Kai at 3 months laughing at something off camera. Kai at 6 months covered in birthday cake. Kai taking his first steps, arms outstretched toward Elon. The last photo was from Kai's first birthday. Marina had made a rocket-shaped cake because Elon had been working on SpaceX designs all week. Kai sat in his high chair, both hands buried in blue frosting, the biggest smile on his face. That was the last birthday Elon had celebrated with his son. He'd missed 17 more. Elon put his phone down and let himself cry, really cry, for the first time in years, for the lost time, for Marina's illness, for Kai's anger, for all the mistakes and misunderstandings that had stolen 18 years from them. I'm sorry, he whispered to the empty room. I'm so sorry. An hour later, Elon walked back to room 412. He knocked softly. Come in, Marina's voice called weakly. Elon opened the door. Marina was sitting up in bed now, looking exhausted but awake. Kai sat in the chair beside her, his hand still holding hers. Both of them looked at Elon as he entered. How are you feeling? Elon asked Marina. Like I got hit by a truck. She managed a weak smile, but I've felt worse. Elon looked at Kai. The young man's face was unreadable. Not angry anymore, but not welcoming either. Just careful. Kai, Marina said gently. Your father came when I called. He dropped everything to be here. That means something. He should have come 18 years ago, Kai muttered. You're right, Elon said. Everyone looked at him in surprise. You're absolutely right, Kai. I should have tried harder. I should have hired better investigators. I should have moved heaven and earth to find you. But I didn't, and that's on me. That's my failure, not your mother's. Kai's mask cracked slightly. Why didn't you? Because I was scared. The admission hurt, but it was true. I was scared that if I found you, you'd reject me. That your mom had told you I was a terrible father and you'd want nothing to do with me. So I convinced myself you were better off without me. I was a coward. Marina squeezed Kai's hand. We all made mistakes, sweetheart, all of us. Your father and I were both trying to protect you in our own ways. We both got it wrong. Kai looked between his parents. Mom, tell him about the test. Marina's eyes filled with tears. Kai, that's your news to share. I need you to be here when I tell him, please. Marina nodded. She looked at Elon. Kai took a genetic test 6 months ago to see if he inherited Huntington's disease from me. Elon's heart stopped. This was it, the moment that would change everything. Kai stood up. He walked to the window, his back to both of them. His hands were shaking not from disease but from emotion. I tested negative, Kai said quietly. I don't have Huntington's. Relief crashed over Elon like a wave. Oh, thank God, thank. But I can't celebrate, Kai continued, his voice breaking. Because Mom is dying and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Not you with all your billions, not your rockets or your technology or your genius. Nothing. And I wasted so much time being angry at both of you that I missed. I missed the good years. Kai turned around. Tears streamed down his face. I have maybe 5 years left with my mom, maybe less. And I spent the last year being so mad at her for lying that I barely talked to her. I can't get that time back. Marina was crying too now. Sweetheart, it's okay. You were hurt. You had every right. No, Kai's voice cracked. It's not okay. None of this is okay. You're dying, Mom, and I need. He couldn't finish. His whole body shook with sobs. Elon moved without thinking. He crossed the room and pulled his son into his arms. Kai stiffened at first, his body rigid with surprise, but then something broke. He collapsed against Elon's chest and cried like he hadn't cried in years. Deep, wrenching sobs that seemed to come from the very center of his soul. Elon held him tight. This stranger who was his son, this young man who carried Marina's eyes and Elon's intensity and his own unique pain. I'm here now, Elon whispered into Kai's hair. I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. We'll get through this together, all of us. Over Kai's shoulder, Elon met Marina's eyes. She was crying too, but she was smiling. A real smile full of relief and hope and forgiveness. For the first time in 18 years, they felt like a family again. Broken and hurting and incomplete, but a family nonetheless. And outside room 412, the sun was setting. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But tonight they had each other. Tonight, that was enough. 3 days passed before Marina was released from the hospital. 3 days that changed everything. Elon barely left. He slept in the waiting room chairs when visiting hours ended. He brought food that Marina couldn't always eat and coffee that Kai drank too much of. He made phone calls to his companies, rescheduling meetings and delegating tasks he usually handled himself. For the first time in decades, work came second. Kai stayed too. He and Elon circled each other like wary animals at first, polite but distant. They'd talk about safe things, the weather, the hospital, food, Marina's test results, but nothing real, nothing that mattered until the second night. It was past midnight. Marina was sleeping. The nurses had kicked Elon and Kai out of her room for the night shift change. They stood together in the hallway, neither wanting to leave but having nowhere else to go. There's a 24-hour diner 2 blocks away, Elon said. Want to get some food? Kai hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, okay. They walked in silence through the quiet Austin streets. The city was different at night, softer, less demanding. Street lights cast orange pools on the sidewalk. A few cars passed by, their headlights cutting through the darkness. The diner was called Rosie's. It was old and worn, with red vinyl booths and a counter that had seen better days. A tired waitress brought the menus and coffee without asking. What's good here? Kai asked, staring at the laminated menu. No idea. I've never been here before. Elon looked up. Let's find out together. Something in Kai's expression softened at that word, together. They ordered burgers and fries, the kind of greasy, unhealthy food that Marina would have scolded them for eating. When the food came, they ate in silence for a few minutes. Then Kai spoke. She used to talk about you, you know, when I was little. Elon set down his burger. What did she say? That you were brilliant, that you could solve any problem if you put your mind to it, that you were going to change the world. Kai picked at his fries. She'd show me articles about SpaceX launches. We'd watch videos of Tesla cars. She never said anything bad about you, not once. But she told you I was too busy to be a father. She said your work was important, that you had to focus on it, that it wasn't your fault we couldn't be together. Kai's voice was tight. I believed her for a long time. Then I got older and started thinking for myself. Started wondering why, if your work was so important, you never even called, never tried to visit, never sent birthday cards or Christmas presents. I did send things. Your mom sent them back. I know that now. Kai met Elon's eyes. I found everything last year, the letters, the returned packages, the legal papers from when you tried to get custody. His voice cracked. You did try, Mom, just. She blocked everything. She thought she was protecting you. I know, Kai looked away. I understand why she did it now. The Huntingtons, the stress, all of it, but it doesn't make it hurt less. Elon reached across the table and put his hand on Kai's arm. I'm sorry I gave up. I'm sorry I convinced myself you were better off without me. That was my failure, not your mom's. She was sick and scared. I was just a coward. Kai looked at Elon's hand on his arm. Tell me about the letters. What did you write? So Elon did. He told Kai about the first letter, written a month after the divorce, about how he described a SpaceX launch and wished Kai could have been there to see it, about the letter for Kai's second birthday, where Elon drew pictures of rockets and wrote simple words that a toddler might understand. I wrote about everything, Elon said quietly. About the stars and planets and the dream of making humanity multiplanetary, about mistakes I made and lessons I learned, about how much I missed you, about how I hoped that someday when you were older you might want to know me. Kai's eyes were wet. I would have written back. If I'd got them, I would have written back. I know you would have. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Kai asked, do you still have them, the letters? I kept copies of all of them. They're in a box in my closet. Can I read them? Of course, they're yours. They were always meant for you. Kai wiped his eyes with his napkin. I want to know you, the real you, not the guy in the articles, not the billionaire genius everyone talks about, just my dad. Elon's throat tightened. I want that too, more than anything. I'm angry though. I need you to know that. I'm angry at Mom for lying. I'm angry at you for giving up. I'm angry at myself for wasting the last year being mad instead of spending time with her. Kai's hands clenched into fists. I'm just so angry at everything. That's okay. You're allowed to be angry. Are you angry at Mom? Elon thought about it. I was. When I first got her email, I was furious. But after seeing her in the hospital, after understanding what she's been going through, he shook his head. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just sad. Sad about all the lost time. Sad that she carried this burden alone. Sad that she's dying and there's nothing I can do to stop it. You really loved her, didn't you? I did, very much. She was my first real love, the mother of my son. Elon looked at Kai. But right now, what matters isn't the past. What matters is the time we have left with her and with each other. Kai nodded slowly. How much time do you think she has? The doctors said 2 to 5 years before she needs full-time care. But that's just an estimate. Huntington's is unpredictable. She's getting worse fast, faster than the doctors expected. Kai's voice dropped to a whisper. I see it every day. The tremors are worse. She falls more often. Last week she forgot my name for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, but he couldn't finish. Elon moved around to Kai's side of the booth and sat next to him. We'll take care of her, together. Whatever she needs, we'll make sure she has it. She won't want your money. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about being there, being present, giving her the family she sacrificed everything to protect. Elon put his arm around Kai's shoulders. And I'm talking about you and me getting to know each other, building something real. So when he couldn't say the words either, so she can see that her sacrifice wasn't for nothing, that we found our way back to each other. Kai leaned into Elon's shoulder, just slightly, like he was testing to see if it was safe. I don't know how to be your son. I don't know how to be your father, not after 18 years. Elon's voice was rough with emotion. But we'll figure it out, one day at a time. They sat like that for a while, father and son, strangers trying to become family. Finally, Kai spoke again. Tell me something true, something nobody else knows. Elon thought about it. When you were born, I was in the room. I watched the whole thing. And when the nurse put you in my arms for the first time, you opened your eyes and looked right at me. You were only minutes old, but I swear you really saw me. And I thought, this is it. This is what everything means. All the work, all the dreams, all of it, this is why. You made everything make sense. Kai's shoulders shook. He was crying again, but quietly this time. Why did you give up on that feeling? Because I'm an idiot. Elon's voice cracked. Because I let fear win. Because I told myself a lie that you were better off without me and I believed it. But I was wrong, Kai, so wrong. And I can't get those 18 years back. But I'm here now. If you'll let me, I'm here now. Kai turned and looked at Elon, really looked at him. I need you to promise me something. Anything. Promise me you won't leave again. No matter what. Even when it gets hard, and it will get hard, promise me you'll stay. I promise. Elon met his son's eyes. I'm not going anywhere. Kai held out his hand, not for a shake but palm up, an offering. Elon took it and squeezed gently. Okay, Kai said. Okay, Dad. Dad. The word hung in the air between them. The first time Kai had called him that in 18 years. Elon couldn't speak. He just held his son's hand and nodded. They walked back to the hospital together as the sun started to rise. The streets were waking up, people heading to early shifts, delivery trucks making their rounds, the city coming back to life. When they got to Marina's room, she was awake. A nurse was checking her vitals. There you are, Marina said when she saw them. Her voice was weak but warm. I was starting to worry. We want to get food, Kai said, pulling up his usual chair next to her bed. Together, Marina's eyes moved between them. Something in her expression changed, hope maybe, or relief. Together, Elon confirmed. He pulled up another chair on the other side of the bed. Marina's trembling hand reached for Elon's. He took it carefully. On the other side, Kai held her other hand. They sat like that, the three of them connected, while the morning sun streamed through the hospital window. I need to tell you both something, Marina said after a moment. While I still can, while my mind is still clear. Mom, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Marina's voice was firm despite the tremor. I need to explain everything, the whole truth. No more secrets, no more lies. Elon and Kai exchanged glances. When I was first diagnosed, Marina began, the doctors ran genetic tests on Kai. He was only 6 months old. Too young to consent, but I needed to know. I needed to know if he had it. And, Kai asked quietly. The test came back inconclusive. The technology wasn't as good back then. They said we'd need to wait until you were older to test again, until you were 18 and could make the choice yourself. Marina's eyes filled with tears. But I couldn't live with not knowing, so I made a decision. I decided that either way, whether you had it or not, I would give you the most normal, peaceful childhood possible, away from the spotlight, away from stress. Just you and me in a quiet town, where nobody knew who your father was or cared about Huntington's disease. That's why you left, Elon said. It wasn't a question. That's why I left. I thought if I told you about the diagnosis, you'd want to fight it. You'd throw money at research, stress yourself trying to find a cure, drag Kai into the public eye with experimental treatments. Marina's voice broke. And if he had Huntington's, all that stress might make it progress faster. I couldn't risk it. So you disappeared, Kai said. So I disappeared. I changed our names legally, moved to Montana, got a quiet job, raised you in peace. Marina looked at Kai with infinite sadness. I gave up everything, my career, my marriage, my own happiness, because I thought that was what a good mother would do. I thought I was protecting you. You were protecting me, Kai said, just maybe not the way I needed. I know that now. Marina's tears fell freely. When you turned 18 and took the test, when it came back negative, I was so relieved. But then I saw how angry you were, how hurt, and I realized I'd made everything worse. I'd robbed you of your father and him of you, all for nothing. Not for nothing, Elon said quietly. Kai grew up away from the chaos of my life, away from the media circus. He had a childhood, a real childhood, that matters. But he didn't have you. No, he didn't, and that was wrong. Elon squeezed her hand. But we can't change the past, Marina. We can only work with what we have now. Marina looked between them. You're talking, you're sitting together. That's more than I hoped for. We went to a diner, Kai said. Ate terrible burgers, talked about the letters. The letters, Marina closed her eyes. I still have all of them, every single one. I couldn't throw them away. I kept them in a box in the attic. I'd read them sometimes when Kai was asleep. I'd cry and wonder if I'd made the right choice. I found them, Kai said. Last year, that's when I learned the truth about everything. I know, you were so angry. Marina opened her eyes again. That's when I knew I had to contact Elon. You needed him and I couldn't be what you needed anymore. The disease is taking me too fast. We're going to take care of you, Elon said firmly. Both of us, whatever you need, the best doctors, the best care. I don't want to die in some fancy facility, Marina interrupted. I want to be somewhere real, somewhere that feels like home. Then that's what we'll do, Kai said. We'll figure it out together. Together, that word again. Marina smiled through her tears. Look at you two, already sounding like a team. We're trying, Elon said. That's all I ever wanted. Marina's eyes were drooping now. The medication was pulling her back toward sleep. For you both to have each other. After I'm gone, you'll have each other. Don't talk like that, Kai said, his voice tight. I have to, sweetheart. These are the conversations we need to have while I still can. Marina's words were slurring slightly. Promise me you'll take care of each other. We promise, Elon and Kai said at the same time. Marina smiled. Good, that's good. Her eyes closed. I'm so tired. Sleep, Mom, Kai said softly. We'll be here when you wake up. Both of you. Both of us, Elon confirmed. Within minutes, Marina was asleep. Her breathing evened out, her face relaxed. Even with the tremors, she looked peaceful. Elon and Kai sat on either side of her bed, keeping watch. What happens now? Kai asked after a while. We take her home. We get her set up with the care she needs. And Elon paused. We get to know each other, really know each other. I start college in the fall. MIT, engineering program. Elon's eyebrows rose. MIT, that's your alma mater, I know, Kai almost smiled. I applied before I knew you wanted to know me, before any of this. I wanted to understand how you think, how your mind works. You got into MIT on your own merit. Yeah, Mom helped me with the application. She was so proud when I got accepted. Kai's voice dropped. She won't get to see me graduate. She might 4 years. She won't, Dad. The word still sounded strange, but Kai used it. Look at her, she's declining fast. The doctors say 2 to 5 years, but I've watched her every day for 18 years. She has less time than that. Maybe 2 years, maybe less. Elon looked at Marina's sleeping face. Kai was right. The signs were all there. The rapid progression, the seizures, the increasing tremors. Then we make the time count, Elon said. Every day, every moment. How you live in Texas, I'm going to Massachusetts. Mom needs care. I have resources, Kai. More resources than anyone could ever need. We'll figure it out. Maybe she comes to Texas where I can oversee her care. Maybe I buy a house in Boston near MIT so you're close by. Maybe we split time. I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out together. Kai looked at his father. You do that, change your whole life around. I already lost 18 years. I'm not losing another day. Elon's voice was fierce. You're my son. She's Marina. She's the mother of my child. She gave up everything because she thought she was protecting you. The least I can do is be here for both of you now. Kai's eyes filled with tears again. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Just let me be your father. That's all I want. They sat in silence for a while longer. Outside the window, Austin was fully awake now. Cars honked, people shouted. Life continued its relentless march forward, but in room 412 time felt suspended. Just 3 people, a dying woman, a lost son, and a father trying to make up for lost time, holding on to each other while they still could. Kai finally spoke. There's something else, something I haven't told you yet. Elon looked at him. What is it? When I took the genetic test, when I found out I was negative, Kai's voice shook. I didn't feel relieved. I felt guilty, like I'd abandoned Mom, like she has to face this alone while I get to live a normal life. That's called survivor's guilt, Elon said gently. It's normal. It doesn't feel normal. It feels like I'm betraying her by being healthy. Your mom doesn't see it that way. She sees it as her gift to you, the gift of a future she won't have. But what kind of future is it if I'm alone, if she's gone and Kai gestured helplessly. I don't even know you. Then let's change that. Elon stood up. Come on. Where are we going? Mom's sleeping. The nurses can watch her for an hour. You and I are going somewhere. Where? You'll see. Kai looked uncertain but stood up. They told the nurse they'd be back soon and left the hospital together. In the parking lot, Elon led Kai to a Tesla Model S. Get in, Elon said. Kai slid into the passenger seat. The car was sleek and silent. Everything in it felt futuristic and perfect. Elon drove through Austin, heading out of the city. Kai didn't ask where they were going. He just watched the city give way to open land. Finally, Elon pulled off onto a dirt road. They drove for another 10 minutes until they reached a clearing on a hill. "Why are we here?" Kai asked as they got out. "Because I want to show you something." Elon opened the trunk and pulled out a large telescope. Kai's eyes widened. "I keep this in the car for times when I need to think," Elon explained. "There's a SpaceX facility about 50 miles from here. Sometimes I drive out and watch the stars." They set up the telescope together. The sun had fully risen now, but Elon adjusted the instrument to point at the horizon. "What are we looking at?" Kai asked. "The future." Elon stepped back. "Look through there, tell me what you see." Kai bent down and peered through the eyepiece. In the distance, barely visible, he could see the outline of massive structures, rocket gantries, launch pads, the SpaceX facility. "That's where we're building the rockets that will take humanity to Mars," Elon said quietly. "That's what I've been working on for 20 years. That's what I sacrificed time with you for." Kai pulled back from the telescope and looked at his father. "And it wasn't worth it," Elon continued. "Those rockets, those dreams, they're important, they matter, but they're not more important than you, than being your father. I got that wrong. I let your mom's sacrifice convince me that my work mattered more than my family. But it doesn't. Nothing does. Mom said your work would change the world. Maybe it will, but what's the point of changing the world if I lose my own son in the process?" Elon put his hand on Kai's shoulder. "I want you to know something. From now on, you come first. Not the companies, not the rockets, not the dreams. You." Kai's face crumpled. "But I don't want you to give up your dreams for me. That's not fair either." "I'm not giving them up. I'm just putting them in perspective. I can build rockets and be your father. I can change the world and show up for you. I just have to try harder, be smarter, make different choices." Elon pulled Kai into a hug. "I can do both. I will do both." Kai hugged him back, tightly, like he was afraid to let go. "I'm scared," Kai whispered. "I'm scared of losing Mom. I'm scared of being alone. I'm scared that I'll disappoint you or that you'll leave again or that I won't be good enough." "Stop." Elon pulled back and looked Kai in the eyes. "You are good enough. You are more than good enough. You are brilliant and kind and strong. You got into MIT on your own merit. You took care of your mother for years while she got sick. You had every reason to hate me, but you're giving me a chance anyway. You are exactly who you're supposed to be." Kai wiped his eyes. "I want to believe that." "Then believe it. And know that no matter what happens, you're not alone, not anymore. You have me. And I'm not going anywhere, I promise." They stood together on that hill looking out at the SpaceX facility in the distance. Father and son. 18 years lost, but maybe, just maybe, a future to build together. "We should get back," Kai finally said. "Mom will worry." "Yeah," Elon started packing up the telescope. "But we'll come back here, you and me. I'll show you the facility, introduce you to the team, if you want." "I want," Kai smiled, a real smile, small but real. "I really want." They drove back to the hospital together. And for the first time in 18 years, Elon felt like maybe, just maybe, he was finally becoming the father he should have been all along. But there was still one more truth waiting for them. One more revelation that would change everything. They just didn't know it yet. Marina was discharged from the hospital on a Thursday afternoon. The doctors gave her a list of medications, instructions for physical therapy, and a warning. The seizures would likely return. It was just a matter of when, not if. Elon had rented a house in Austin while they figured out the next steps. Not a mansion, Marina had been firm about that. Just a comfortable 3-bedroom home in a quiet neighborhood with a yard and a porch, somewhere that felt normal. "I don't want to feel like a charity case," Marina had said when Elon showed her pictures of the place. "You're not a charity case, you're family." Elon had looked at Kai when he said it. "This is for all of us." Now, as they pulled into the driveway, Marina sat in the passenger seat of Elon's car, looking at the house with tears in her eyes. "It looks like our old place," she whispered. "In California, before everything fell apart." "I know," Elon said quietly. "I remembered." Kai helped his mother out of the car. She moved slowly, gripping his arm for balance. The tremors in her hands were worse today. Stress from the hospital discharge, the doctors had said. Inside, the house was furnished simply but comfortably. A soft couch in the living room, a kitchen table with 4 chairs, bedrooms with actual beds, not hospital cots. It smelled like fresh paint and new beginnings. "The downstairs bedroom is yours," Elon told Marina. I didn't want you dealing with stairs. Marina walked slowly to the room and looked inside. There was a hospital bed, she'd insisted on that, knowing she'd need it eventually, but also a regular dresser, a reading chair by the window, and photographs on the walls. Pictures of Kai at different ages that Elon must have asked for. How did you get these? Marina touched a photo of 5-year-old Kai holding a fish he'd caught. I asked Kai to send me pictures, from Montana, from your life together. Elon stood in the doorway. I wanted you to feel at home. Marina turned to look at him, tears streaming down her face. Why are you being so kind to me, after everything I did? Because you're the mother of my son. Because you were sick and scared and did what you thought was right. Because, Elon's voice caught. Because I loved you once, Marina. I loved you so much. And that doesn't just disappear. I don't deserve this. Maybe not. But I didn't deserve to lose 18 years with Kai either. Life isn't about what we deserve. It's about what we do with the time we have left. Kai appeared behind Elon. Mom, there's something else. Come see. Marina followed her son through the house to the backyard. There in the middle of the yard was a telescope. A huge, professional-grade telescope pointed at the sky. Dad said you used to love stargazing, Kai said. Before you got sick, he thought maybe we could do it together, the three of us. Marina covered her mouth with her shaking hands. I haven't looked at stars in years. Then it's time to start again, Elon said. They stood together in the yard, the three of them, looking at the telescope that promised clear nights and shared moments and time, precious, limited time together. The first week in the house was an adjustment. Marina's condition required constant attention, physical therapy appointments, medication schedules, exercises to help maintain her motor control for as long as possible. Elon hired a nurse named Patricia who came during the day. She was kind and efficient, treating Marina with dignity even when helping with things Marina could no longer do herself. Kai hovered constantly, worried and protective. He'd check on his mother a dozen times a day, making sure she'd taken her pills, asking if she needed anything, watching for signs of another seizure. You need to rest too, Marina told him on the third day. You're going to burn yourself out. I'm fine. You're not fine, you barely sleep, you barely eat. Marina patted the bed beside her. Come sit with me, really sit, not just checking on me. Kai sat, his body tense with worry. Talk to me, Marina said. Not about my health, about you, about your life, about MIT. MIT doesn't matter right now. It matters to me. Marina took his hand with her trembling one. I need to know you're still thinking about your future, still planning for what comes next. How can I plan for the future when you might not be in it? The words hung heavy in the air. Marina squeezed his hand as firmly as she could. That's exactly why you need to plan, sweetheart, because I won't always be here to help you, but your father will be. I barely know him. Then get to know him, spend time with him, let him be your dad. Marina's eyes were fierce despite her weakness. That's what I want. That's the only thing that matters to me now, knowing you won't be alone. Kai's eyes filled with tears. I don't want you to go. I know, baby, I know, but I am going, someday. And when that day comes, I need to know you're okay, that you have someone. Marina pulled Kai close, wrapping her shaking arms around him. Promise me you'll let him in, really let him in. I promise, Kai whispered into her shoulder. Elon was struggling too, though he tried to hide it. He'd taken a month off from work, something his board of directors had been shocked by, but he still spent hours on his laptop each night after Marina and Kai went to bed. One night, Kai found him in the kitchen at 2 a.m. staring at medical research papers. Can't sleep? Kai asked. Elon looked up, startled. Just reading about Huntington's, latest research, clinical trials. Kai sat down across from him. There's no cure, Dad. The doctors have told us that a dozen times. There's always something, some new treatment, some experimental approach. Elon's eyes were wild with determination and desperation. I have resources. I can fund research. I can. You can't fix this. Kai's voice was gentle but firm. I know you want to. I know that's what you do. You find impossible problems and you solve them. But this isn't a rocket equation. This is biology. This is time. And you can't buy time no matter how much money you have. Elon's shoulders slumped. I have to try. No, you don't. What you have to do is be here. Be present. Help mom enjoy the time she has left instead of spending every night trying to find a miracle that doesn't exist. I can't just accept this. You have to. Kai reached across the table and put his hand on his father's. We both do. Mom has accepted it. She's made her peace. Now we need to make ours. Elon looked at their hands, his son's hand on his. Solid, real, present. I don't know how to do that, Elon admitted. I don't know how to just let go. Me neither, but maybe we can figure it out together. There was that word again, together. Elon nodded slowly. Okay, I'll try. That's all any of us can do. They sat in the kitchen for another hour, not talking about Huntington's or research or cures. Instead, Kai told Elon about Montana, about growing up in a small town where everyone knew everyone, about learning to fish in the summer and ski in the winter, about his high school friends and his favorite teachers and the library where Marina had worked. Elon listened, really listened, soaking up 18 years of his son's life in one late-night conversation. I wish I'd been there, Elon said when Kai finished. Me too, but you're here now, Kai stood up, and that matters more than you know. After Kai went to bed, Elon closed the medical research papers. He wouldn't stop hoping for a breakthrough. That wasn't in his nature, but he would stop obsessing. He would focus on what mattered, the time they had now. Days turned into weeks. They fell into a rhythm. Mornings were for Marina's physical therapy and medications. Afternoons, when she felt strong enough, they'd sit in the backyard or take short walks around the neighborhood. Evenings were for dinner together, simple meals that Elon learned to cook from YouTube videos, much to Marina and Kai's amusement. You're burning the pasta, Kai called from the table one night. How do you burn pasta? Marina laughed. It's in water. I'm multitasking, Elon protested, though he quickly turned down the heat. These moments, ordinary, domestic, imperfect, became precious, more precious than any rocket launch or business deal. One evening after Marina had gone to bed early, Elon and Kai sat on the back porch. The telescope stood nearby, ready for clear nights. She's getting worse, Kai said quietly. Elon nodded. He'd noticed too. The tremors were more frequent. Marina had trouble holding a fork now. Yesterday she'd fallen in the bathroom despite Patricia being right there to help. The doctors want to talk to us, Elon said. About next steps, about what to expect. I don't want to know what to expect. I just want her to be okay. I know. They sat in silence, listening to crickets chirp in the yard. There's something I need to tell you, Kai said finally. About the test, about when I found out I was negative. Elon turned to look at his son. When I got the results, my first thought wasn't relief, it was guilt. Kai's voice shook. I called Mom and told her, and she cried. She was so happy. But all I could think was that she was dying and I wasn't, and how unfair that was. That's normal, Kai. Survivor's guilt. Let me finish. Kai took a breath. After I got off the phone with Mom, I looked you up. I'd avoided reading about you for years because it hurt too much. But that day, I read everything. Every article, every interview, every piece of your story. And I realized something. You lose things too. You've lost companies, relationships, time, dreams. You fail and you get back up and you keep going. Kai looked at his father. That's when I decided I wanted to know you, not because of Mom's diagnosis, not because I felt obligated, but because I wanted to learn how you do that, how you keep going when everything falls apart. Elon felt something crack open in his chest. You want to know the truth? Most days, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just keep moving forward because stopping feels worse. That's what I need to learn, how to keep moving forward when Mom is gone, when I'm alone. You won't be alone, I'll be there. Will you? Kai's voice was small, vulnerable. Really, because you promised before and then you weren't. The words stung because they were true. I understand why you doubt me, Elon said carefully. I gave up before. I let your mom's walls convince me to stop fighting. But Kai, I swear to you, I will not make that mistake again. I will be there for you. For every birthday, every graduation, every moment that matters and every moment that doesn't. I will be your father. Really, truly your father. How can you promise that? Your life is crazy. You run multiple companies. You're trying to colonize Mars. Then I'll figure it out. I'll delegate more. I'll say no to things. I'll prioritize differently. Elon moved closer to Kai. You asked me once why I gave up. The truth is, I was a different person then. Younger, more selfish, more afraid. But losing you changed me even if I didn't realize it at the time. And now, having you back, I'm not going to waste this second chance. Kai searched his father's face. I want to believe you. Then believe me. Or don't, just let me prove it to you. Day by day, that's all I'm asking for. Kai nodded slowly. Okay, but if you leave. I won't. But if you do, I don't think I'll survive it. Not after losing Mom too. Elon pulled Kai into a hug. I'm not leaving, I promise. I'm here and I'm staying. They held each other as the Texas sky darkened above them and the stars began to appear one by one. The next morning, Marina asked to speak to both of them. She was having a good day, the tremors were mild, her mind was clear. These good days were becoming rarer. They gathered in her room. Marina sat up in bed, looking small but determined. I need to tell you something, she said. Both of you, while I still can. Elon and Kai exchanged worried glances. The doctors called me yesterday while you were both out. Marina's voice was steady. They want me to come in for more tests. They're concerned about how fast the disease is progressing. What kind of tests? Kai asked. It doesn't matter, I'm not going. Mom. No, Kai, listen to me. Marina looked at both of them. I know what's happening to me. I know where this is headed. And I've decided that I don't want to spend my last good days in hospitals getting poked and prodded and tested. But if there's something they can do, Elon started. There isn't, we all know that. Marina's eyes were clear and certain. I have maybe 2 years left, maybe less. I want to spend that time living, not dying in a hospital room. What do you want? Kai asked quietly. I want to spend time with my son. I want to watch you two become a real family. I want to sit in the backyard and look at stars. I want to have dinners where your father burns the pasta. Marina smiled through tears. I want normal, as much normal as I can get before the disease takes even that away. Elon felt his throat tighten. Okay, then that's what we'll do. You're not going to argue with me. Would it do any good? Marina laughed weakly. No, probably not. Then we'll do it your way. Elon took her hand. We'll make every day count. There's something else. Marina looked at Kai. I need you to promise me something. Anything, Mom. When it gets bad, when I can't take care of myself anymore, when I don't remember who you are, I need you to let go. I need you to keep living your life. Go to MIT. Fall in love. Chase your dreams. Don't put your life on hold for me. Mom, I can't. You can, and you will, because that's what I need from you. Marina's voice was fierce. I didn't sacrifice everything so you could waste your life watching me die. Do you understand? Kai was crying now. I understand. And Elon, Marina turned to him. I need you to promise that you'll help him do that you'll push him forward when he wants to stay stuck, that you'll be the father I couldn't let you be before. I promise, Elon said. I promise I'll take care of him. Good. Marina leaned back against her pillows, suddenly exhausted. Good. Now I can rest. Within minutes she was asleep, but this time her face was peaceful, like a weight had been lifted. Elon and Kai sat with her for a long time, not speaking, just being present. Finally, Kai spoke. She's dying faster than the doctors expected, isn't she? Yes. How much time do you think she really has? Elon looked at Marina's sleeping form, at the tremors that continued even in sleep, at the way her breathing was slightly labored. I don't know, but we'll make it count, every single day. I'm scared, Dad. Me too, son, me too. They sat together in the quiet room, two men learning to be father and son while the woman who connected them slowly faded away. Outside, the world kept turning. Companies needed running, rockets needed building. Mars awaited, but none of that mattered, not anymore. All that mattered was here, in this room, this moment, together. But neither of them knew that in just a few weeks, Marina would tell them something that would change everything. A final secret she'd been keeping. The real reason she'd called Elon after 18 years. The truth was waiting, patient and terrible, for the right moment to reveal itself. And when it did, nothing would ever be the same. 6 weeks passed. 6 weeks of learning to be a family. 6 weeks of small joys and quiet sorrows. 6 weeks of watching Marina grow weaker day by day. She could barely walk now without assistance. The tremors had spread from her hands to her whole body. Some days her words came out slurred and confused. Other days she was sharp and clear, like the old Marina had returned for one more visit. Kai had deferred his MIT enrollment by a semester. "I need to be here," he'd told the admissions office. Elon hadn't argued. Some things were more important than schedules. They'd settled into a routine. Mornings were hardest. Marina struggled to get out of bed, to dress herself, to hold a spoon for breakfast. Patricia, the nurse, helped with dignity and kindness. But Elon could see the embarrassment in Marina's eyes. The loss of independence was killing her spirit faster than the disease was killing her body. Afternoons were better. They'd sit in the backyard when the weather was nice. Marina would rest in a comfortable chair while Elon and Kai talked about everything and nothing. Engineering problems, books they'd read, dreams for the future. Marina would listen, her eyes closed, a small smile on her face. "I like hearing you two talk," she'd said once. "You sound alike. The way your minds work, the way you both get excited about ideas." "He's smarter than I was at his age," Elon had replied. "That's because he has my genes too," Marina had joked. They'd all laughed. Even laughter felt precious now. Evenings were for stargazing when the sky was clear. Elon would set up the telescope and they'd take turns looking at planets and distant galaxies. Marina couldn't look through the eyepiece anymore. Her hands shook too much. But Kai would describe what he saw, painting pictures with words. "Jupiter is so bright tonight, Mom. You can see the bands across it. And there's a tiny dot next to it, that's one of the moons. Europa, I think." Marina would smile, her eyes distant, remembering nights when she could see for herself. It was a Sunday morning when everything changed. Elon woke early, as always. He made coffee and checked his phone out of habit. Work emails could wait. They always could now. He walked down the hall and knocked softly on Marina's door. "Marina, you awake? I made coffee." No answer. Elon knocked again, louder. "Marina." Still nothing. Fear gripped his chest. He opened the door quickly. Marina was in bed, her eyes open, staring at the ceiling. For one horrible moment, Elon thought she was dead. "Marina," he rushed to her side. She blinked, turned her head slowly to look at him. "Elon," she whispered. Her voice was so weak. "Are you okay? I knocked, but you didn't answer, I thought." "I couldn't move." Tears leaked from the corners of her eyes. "I woke up an hour ago. I tried to get up, tried to call for help, but my body won't listen anymore." Elon's heart broke. "It's okay, I'm here now, let me help you." He helped her sit up, propping pillows behind her. Her whole body trembled with the effort. When she was finally comfortable, she looked exhausted, like sitting up had taken all her energy. "It's getting worse faster than we thought," Marina said. "The doctors warned me this could happen, that one day I'd wake up and everything would be different. We'll adjust, we'll get you more help, whatever you need." "Elon," Marina reached for his hand with her shaking one. "I need to tell you something while I still can, while my mind is still clear." "What is it?" "Get Kai, please. He needs to hear this too." Elon's stomach tightened with dread. "Marina, you're scaring me." "Just get him, please." Elon went to Kai's room and knocked. "Kai, your mom wants to talk to us, both of us." Kai opened the door immediately, already dressed. "Is she okay?" "I don't know. She says she needs to tell us something." They walked to Marina's room together. She was still sitting up in bed, but she looked pale, older than her 43 years, like the disease had aged her a decade overnight. "Mom," Kai sat on the edge of the bed and took her hand. "What's wrong?" "Sit down, both of you." Marina's voice was steady despite the tremors. "I need to tell you something I should have told you weeks ago, but I was afraid and selfish. I wanted more time with you both before everything changed." Elon pulled up a chair. His hands gripped the armrests tightly. "What are you talking about?" Marina took a shaky breath. "Kai, when you took the genetic test 6 months ago, when you found out you were negative for Huntington's, that was true. You don't have the disease. You're going to live a long, healthy life." "I know, Mom, we've talked about this. But there's something else. Something the genetic counselor told me. Something I didn't understand the significance of at first." Marina's eyes filled with tears. "When they ran your DNA, they also ran a standard paternity confirmation. It's routine for genetic testing. They compare your DNA to both parents to make sure the results are accurate." Elon felt the world tilt sideways. "Marina, what are you saying?" "The test showed that I'm your mother, Kai, but..." Her voice broke. But Elon isn't your biological father." The words hung in the air like a bomb that had just detonated. Kai pulled his hand away from Marina's. "What?" "I don't understand." Elon stood up, his chair scraping loudly. "That's impossible. I was there when he was born. I held him. He's my son." "He is your son. In every way that matters, he's your son. You're the only father he's ever known. But biologically—" Marina was crying now, her whole body shaking worse than ever. "Biologically, his father is someone else." "Who?" Kai's voice was cold, hard. "Who is my real father?" "His name was David Chen. He was a doctor at the hospital where I got my diagnosis. He counseled me after I found out about the Huntingtons. He was kind, understanding, and I was so scared and alone and—" Marina couldn't continue. Elon felt like he'd been punched in the gut. "You had an affair." "No, not an affair. It was one time. One terrible, weak moment right after the diagnosis. I was falling apart and you were so busy with work and I felt so alone. David was there and he understood what I was going through and Marina sobbed. "I made a mistake. One mistake that I've regretted every day for 18 years. Kai stood up, his face white with shock. "Does he know this David? Does he know about me?" "No, he moved to Seattle 2 months after that night. I never told him. I never told anyone." Marina looked at Elon with desperate eyes. "When Kai was born, I convinced myself it didn't matter. You were his father. You held him and loved him and raised him. DNA didn't change that." "But it does change things." Elon's voice rose. "You let me believe for 18 years, you let me believe." I know it was wrong," Marina's voice cracked. "But by the time I realized I might be pregnant, I had already decided to leave. I had already planned everything. And Kai," she looked at her son. "Kai, you have to understand. From the moment you were born, I saw Elon when I looked at you. The way you think, the way you move, even the expressions on your face, they're all his. Not because of genetics, but because he was your father for the first year of your life. You absorbed him. You became his son in all the ways that matter." "But I'm not his son." Kai's voice was hollow. "I'm the son of some stranger." "You are my son." Elon moved toward Kai, but the young man stepped back. "Kai, listen to me. DNA doesn't make you my son. Love makes you my son. The 18 years I spent missing you makes you my son. The fact that I'd give up everything for you makes you my son. But you're not my real father." "I am your real father. Biology doesn't change that." Kai shook his head. "I need to think. I can't be here right now." He turned and walked out of the room. Elon started to follow, but Marina's weak voice stopped him. "Let him go. He needs time." Elon spun around to face her. "How could you keep this from me? From him, how could you?" "Because I was afraid." Marina's tears flowed freely. "I was afraid you'd reject him if you knew, afraid you'd hate me, afraid it would ruin everything. So I buried it. I pretended it wasn't true, and when I left, I told myself I was protecting everyone. But you weren't protecting anyone. You were just lying." "I know." Marina's voice was barely a whisper. "I know, Elon, and I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for the affair. I'm sorry for the lies. I'm sorry for everything." Elon sank into the chair. His mind was reeling. Kai wasn't his biological son. The boy he'd loved from the moment he was born, the boy he'd searched for, the boy he'd just found again, not his son. But even as he thought it, he knew it wasn't true. Kai was his son, maybe not by blood, but by everything else that mattered. "Why tell us now?" Elon asked. "Why not take this secret to your grave?" "Because Kai deserves the truth. Because when I'm gone, he might want to know his medical history, might want to find David, might have questions I can't answer." Marina's voice was getting weaker. "And because I couldn't die knowing I'd left him with another lie. He's had enough lies from me." "Does this David know that you were pregnant?" "No, I never told him. I don't even know if he's still in Seattle. I haven't spoken to him since before Kai was born." Elon stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the day was bright and sunny. Birds were singing. Life was continuing like the world hadn't just fallen apart. "I need time too," he said without turning around. "I need to process this." "I understand." "Do you?" Elon turned to face her. "Do you understand what you've done? You've taken away the one thing I've held onto for 18 years, the certainty that somewhere out there I had a son who was part of me. Now you're telling me that was a lie too. It wasn't a lie, he is part of you. Maybe not genetically, but in every other way. The way he thinks, the way he dreams, the passion he has for understanding how things work, that's all you, Elon. You shaped him in that first year. You made him who he is. But he's not mine. He's yours if you claim him, if you choose to be his father despite the DNA. Marina's eyes pleaded with him. Please, Elon, don't abandon him over this. He needs you now more than ever. I'm dying, and if he loses you too. I'm not abandoning anyone. Elon's voice was firm. I'm just trying to understand how my entire life has been built on lies. He walked out of the room without another word. Elon found Kai sitting in the backyard on the ground near the telescope. His head was in his hands. His shoulders shook with silent sobs. Elon sat down beside him, not touching, just present. They sat in silence for a long time. The sun climbed higher in the sky. A neighbor's dog barked. Life continued, indifferent to their pain. Finally, Kai spoke. I don't know who I am anymore. Yes, you do. You're Kai. You're 18 years old. You got into MIT. You love physics and engineering. You're loyal and smart and kind. You're taking care of your dying mother even though she's lied to you your whole life. That's who you are. But I'm not your son. You are my son. Elon's voice was fierce. Maybe not by DNA, but by every single thing that matters. I held you when you were born. I walked with you when you couldn't sleep. I taught you to crawl and laugh and dream. I wrote you 53 letters over 3 years, pouring my heart out because I missed you so much. I came when your mother called, even after 18 years, because you're my son. DNA doesn't change any of that. But it does change things. Don't lie to me, Dad. It changes everything. It changes the story. It doesn't change how I feel. Elon turned to look at Kai. Look at me. Kai slowly lifted his head. His eyes were red and swollen. I choose you, Elon said. Right now, knowing everything, I choose to be your father, not because genetics force me to, not because of obligation, but because I want to, because you're my son in every way that counts. What if you wake up tomorrow and regret this? What if you realize you can't love someone who isn't really yours? That's impossible. Why? Because I already love you. I've loved you since the day you were born. I loved you through 18 years of separation. I loved you before I knew the truth, and I love you now that I know. That love doesn't just disappear because of a DNA test. Kai's face crumpled. I'm so confused, I'm so angry, at Mom for lying, at this David person for existing, at the universe for making everything so complicated. Me too, I'm furious at your mother, but I also understand why she did it. She was sick and scared and trying to protect you in her broken way. People make terrible decisions when they're terrified. What do we do now? Elon thought about it. We grieve, we adjust, we figure out what this means for us, but we do it together, as father and son, because that's what we are, Kai, DNA test or no DNA test. Do you mean that? Really mean it? With every fiber of my being. Kai leaned against Elon's shoulder. I don't want to lose you, not now, not after just finding you. You're not going to lose me, I'm here, I'm staying. Elon put his arm around Kai. We're going to get through this, all of it. Your mom's illness, this revelation, everything together. They sat like that for a long time, father and son, not by blood but by choice. And maybe Elon thought choice was stronger than blood anyway. When they finally went back inside, Marina was awake. Patricia was with her, checking her vitals. She's had a rough morning, Patricia said quietly to Elon. Her blood pressure is elevated. She's very agitated. Elon nodded. Can you give us some privacy? Patricia left and Elon and Kai stood at the foot of Marina's bed. Marina looked at them with fearful eyes. Are you leaving, both of you? I wouldn't blame you if. We're not leaving, Kai said. His voice was steady now, stronger. But we need to talk about all of it. No more secrets, no more lies, everything, Mom. You need to tell us everything. Marina nodded, tears streaming down her face. Okay, I'll tell you everything. And she did. She told them about the day she got her diagnosis, about how terrified she'd been, about David Chen, the genetic counselor who had been kind when she was falling apart, about the one night, fueled by fear and wine and desperation, when she'd made a mistake she couldn't take back. She told them about realizing she might be pregnant, about the panic, about deciding to leave Elon before he could figure out the truth, about convincing herself that it didn't matter who Kai's biological father was because Elon had been his real father from day one. She told them about the guilt that had eaten at her for 18 years, about the times she'd almost told the truth, about the relief when Kai's genetic test finally forced her to stop lying. "I thought I was protecting you," Marina said when she finished. "Both of you, but I was really just protecting myself. From judgment, from consequences, from having to face what I'd done." Kai sat on the edge of the bed. "Do you love him, this David?" "No, I never loved him. It was one night of weakness. I loved your father, I loved Elon. I still do in my way." "Does he deserve to know?" Kai asked. "Does David deserve to know he has a son?" Marina looked at Elon, then back at Kai. "That's not my decision to make anymore. It's yours. If you want to find him, if you want to know him, I'll give you all the information I have. But if you want to leave it alone, that's okay too." Kai thought about it. "I don't know yet, I need time." "Take all the time you need." Elon spoke for the first time since entering the room. "Marina, what you did, the affair, the lies, I'm not going to pretend it doesn't hurt. It does. It hurts more than I can put into words, but I understand why you did it, and I forgive you." Marina's eyes widened. You forgive me." "I do, not because you deserve it, but because holding on to anger won't help anyone. You're dying. Kai needs his mother, and Elon's voice caught. "I need to let go of the past so we can make the most of whatever time we have left. I don't deserve your forgiveness." "Probably not, but I'm giving it anyway." Marina broke down completely. Her whole body shook with sobs that were partly grief, partly relief, partly the disease destroying her motor control. Kai held her until the sobbing subsided. When she finally calmed, she looked at both of them with exhausted, grateful eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for staying. Thank you for not hating me." "We could never hate you, Mom," Kai said. "We're hurt and angry and confused, but we don't hate you." "What happens now?" Marina asked. "Now we move forward," Elon said. "We process this, we heal, and we focus on what matters, the time we have together. All three of us." Elon looked at Kai. Kai nodded. "All three of us," Elon confirmed. Marina closed her eyes, a small smile on her face despite everything. "That's all I ever wanted, all three of us together, like a family." "We are a family," Kai said. "A weird, broken, complicated family, but a family." And in that moment, despite the lies and the pain and the terminal illness hanging over them, it felt true. They were a family, not because of blood or genetics or traditional bonds, but because they chose each other, because they stayed even when leaving would have been easier. Because sometimes family isn't about who you're born to. It's about who you choose to stay with even when everything falls apart. Outside, the sun continued its journey across the sky. Time moved forward, relentless and uncaring. But inside that house, three people held on to each other and decided that whatever time they had left, they'd face it together. And that would have to be enough. The days after the revelation were strange and tender. They moved around each other carefully, like people learning to walk on new legs. The truth had changed the shape of everything, but somehow it had also made things clearer. Elon took a week completely off. No emails, no calls, no emergencies that couldn't wait. His assistant had nearly fainted when he told her. "A full week," she'd asked. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. My son needs me." "My son?" He'd said it deliberately, testing how it felt in his mouth. It felt right, true. Biology hadn't made Kai his son. Love had. Kai struggled more. He'd spend hours on his laptop researching David Chen, finding his LinkedIn profile, his work history, photos of him at medical conferences. David was 50 now, still practicing in Seattle. He had a wife and 2 daughters. He had no idea that somewhere in Texas, there was an 18-year-old boy who carried his DNA. "Have you decided if you want to contact him?" Elon asked one afternoon. They were in the backyard, supposedly fixing a wobbly leg on Marina's outdoor chair, but really just spending time together. "I don't know." Kai tightened a screw with more force than necessary. "Part of me wants to know him, to understand where I came from, but another part of me feels like it would be betraying you." "It wouldn't be betraying me." "Wouldn't it?" Kai looked up. "You're my dad, the only dad I've ever known. If I go looking for him, doesn't that mean I'm saying you're not enough? Elon set down his tools and sat on the grass. Come here, sit with me. Kai sat, pulling up grass with his fingers nervously. Listen to me carefully, Elon said. You wanting to know David doesn't diminish what we have. It doesn't mean I'm not your father. It just means you're curious about your biology, which is completely normal and healthy. But what if I meet him and I like him? What if he's nice and we connect? Then that's good. That means you have more people in your life who care about you. Elon put his hand on Kai's shoulder. I'm not threatened by David Chen. I'm not competing with him. You have enough room in your heart for both of us if that's what you want. Really? Really? But Kai, this has to be your decision. Not mine, not your mom's, yours. If you want to reach out to him, do it. If you want to wait, wait. If you never want to contact him, that's okay too. Whatever you decide, I'll support you. Kai pulled up more grass. What would you do if you were me? I'd probably be terrified and curious in equal measure. I'd spend weeks researching him just like you're doing, and eventually I'd probably reach out because not knowing would eat at me. Elon smiled slightly. But that's me. You're not me. You get to make your own choice. I think I want to wait, at least until Mom. Kai couldn't finish the sentence. Until your mom passes, that's wise, one crisis at a time. They sat together in silence, watching clouds drift across the blue Texas sky. Dad, Kai's voice was quiet. Yeah. Thank you for staying, for not leaving when you found out. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Marina's condition continued to decline. By the third week, she could barely feed herself. Her speech was slurred more often than not. Some days she didn't recognize Patricia. Other days she'd forget where she was and call out for her own mother who'd been dead for 10 years. But she always recognized Kai and Elon. Always. That's interesting, Patricia told them one evening. With Huntington's patients, familiar faces are usually the last thing to go. The people they love most stay clearest the longest. How much longer? Kai asked. He'd stopped avoiding the question. Patricia's face was kind but honest. Weeks, maybe. A few months if we're lucky. Her body is shutting down faster than expected. After Patricia left, Kai went to his room and didn't come out for hours. Elon found him lying on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Can I come in? Elon asked from the doorway. Kai nodded without looking over. Elon came in and sat on the edge of the bed. You want to talk about it? There's nothing to talk about. She's dying. We knew she was dying. Now we know it's happening faster. Kai's voice was flat, empty. I should have expected this. Huntington's doesn't follow a schedule. You can't prepare for this, Kai, no matter how much you try. I keep thinking about all the time I wasted being angry at her. Last year, when I found out about the lies, I barely spoke to her for 3 months. 3 whole months. I can't get that time back. No, you can't, but you're here now, that's what matters. Is it enough? 3 months of good time versus 18 years of lies. Elon lay down on the bed next to Kai, both of them staring at the ceiling like it held answers. Your mom made terrible choices, choices that hurt both of us, but she made them because she was scared and sick and trying to protect you. That doesn't make the choices right, but it makes them human. I don't know if I can forgive her, not completely. You don't have to forgive her completely. You just have to make peace with her while you still can. Because once she's gone, you can't take back the things you didn't say. Kai turned his head to look at Elon. Did you forgive her, really, or did you just say that? I'm working on it. Some days I'm angrier than others, but I'm trying because holding on to anger just poisons me. It doesn't change what happened. It doesn't give me back the 18 years. It just makes me bitter. How do you let go of anger? I don't know. I'm still figuring it out myself. Elon sat up. But I think it starts with accepting that people are complicated. Your mom isn't a villain. She's not a saint either. She's just a flawed person who made terrible choices while dealing with an impossible situation. Kai sat up too. I want to spend more time with her, real time, not just sitting in her room while she sleeps. Then let's make that happen, starting tomorrow. The next morning they woke Marina early as her medication schedule allowed. What's happening? Marina asked groggily as Elon helped her into her wheelchair. Her speech was slurred, but her eyes were alert. We're going on an adventure, Kai said. An adventure? I can barely move. That's what the wheelchair is for. They took her to a park she'd mentioned once, a place she'd taken Kai when he was little during a rare visit to Austin for a doctor's appointment. It was nothing special, just a small park with a pond and some ducks and a walking path, but Marina's eyes lit up when she saw it. I remember this place. You brought me here when I was 5, Kai said, pushing her wheelchair along the path. You bought me ice cream even though it was 9 in the morning. You said rules were meant to be broken sometimes. Marina laughed. The sound was weak but genuine. You got it all over your face, all over my shirt. You looked like a chocolate monster. I remember that. Kai stopped the wheelchair near the pond. I remember you laughing. You laughed so much that day. They sat by the pond for an hour feeding ducks with bread Elon had brought. Marina couldn't throw the bread herself. Her hands shook too much, so Kai and Elon took turns, making a game of who could get the ducks to come closest. This is nice, Marina said quietly. All of us together. No hospitals, no tests, just this. We can do this more, Elon said. As often as you want. We'll go places, make memories. Whatever you want to do, we'll make it happen. I want to see the stars one more time, really see them, through the telescope. Tonight, Kai promised. If the sky is clear, we'll do it tonight. That night the sky was perfectly clear. Elon and Kai carried Marina outside in a special chair that reclined. They positioned her where she could see the sky without straining her neck. Elon set up the telescope and pointed it at Saturn. The rings are visible tonight, he said. Really visible. It's beautiful. Describe it to me, Marina said. Her eyes were closed. She was too weak to look through the eyepiece. So Kai did. He described the pale yellow planet with its magnificent rings. He described how the rings weren't solid but made of billions of ice particles. He described the gap between the rings called the Cassini division. He made it sound like poetry. Marina smiled. You sound just like your father when you talk about space. He's teaching me well. You're both teaching each other. Marina opened her eyes and looked at the stars above them. You know what I realized? I spent 18 years trying to protect Kai by keeping you two apart, but all I really did was rob all three of us of time together, time we can never get back. We have time now, Elon said, not much. Then we make it count. Marina reached out her trembling hand. Kai took it. Then she reached out her other hand and Elon took that one. They stood like that, the three of them connected under the vast Texas sky. I need to tell you both something, Marina said, while I still have the words. What is it, Mom? I'm ready to let go, to stop fighting. Her voice was calm, peaceful. I've been holding on because I was afraid of dying, afraid of leaving Kai alone, but I'm not afraid anymore, because you two have each other now. You're going to be okay. Mom, don't talk like that. No, Kai, listen. Marina squeezed their hands weakly. I need you to hear this. When I'm gone, and it's going to be soon, I need you to live, really live, go to MIT, fall in love, build rockets with your dad, chase your dreams. Don't spend years mourning me. How can I not mourn you? You can mourn, but don't let grief stop you from living, that's all I'm asking. She looked at Elon. And you, take care of him, not because you have to, but because you want to, because he's your son. He is my son. Biology doesn't change that. I know, I've always known. Marina's tears caught the starlight. Elon, there's something I never told you. That first year before I left, I'd watch you with Kai. The way you'd hold him like he was made of glass. The way you'd talk to him about rockets and stars like he could understand. The way you loved him so completely. That's when I knew it didn't matter who his biological father was. You were his real father. Why did you leave then? Because I knew what was coming. The Huntingtons, the decline, the stress it would put on all of us. I thought I was being noble. Marina laughed bitterly. I thought I was being brave, but I was just a coward. I was running away from the hard thing instead of facing it with the people I loved. You were scared. I was terrified, but that's no excuse. Marina looked at Kai. Baby, I'm so sorry for the lies, for taking your father away, for all of it. I thought I was protecting you, but I just hurt you. I know, Mom, and I forgive you. Marina's eyes widened. You do. I'm still angry, I'm still hurt, but I forgive you. Kai knelt beside her chair. Because you're my mom. and you did the best you could with an impossible situation, and because holding on to anger is just making me miserable." Marina pulled Kai close with what little strength she had. "Thank you. Thank you for giving me that gift." They stayed outside for another hour looking at stars and talking about everything and nothing. Marina got cold, so Elon brought out blankets. Kai made hot chocolate. They were together, and for that moment it was enough. 4 days later, Marina had another seizure. A bad one. The ambulance came and they rushed her to the hospital again. This time was different. The doctors were blunt. "Her body is shutting down. You should prepare yourselves." They kept her comfortable with medication. Elon and Kai rarely left her room. They took turns sleeping in the uncomfortable hospital chairs. They held her hands when she was awake and scared. They talked to her even when she couldn't respond because the doctors said she could still hear. On the third day in the hospital, Marina woke up lucid, completely lucid, like the old Marina had returned one last time. "I don't have much time," she said. Her voice was weak but clear. "Hours, maybe." "I can feel it." "Don't say that," Kai started. "SHH, listen to me, both of you." Marina looked at them with clear, loving eyes. "These last few weeks with you both have been the happiest of my life, even with the disease, even knowing I'm dying. Having you both here together like a family, that's all I ever wanted." "We're here, Mom. We're not going anywhere." "I know, and that's why I can let go." Marina smiled. "Kai, my beautiful boy, you're going to do amazing things. You're going to change the world just like your father, and you're going to be happy. Promise me you'll be happy." "I promise," Kai whispered through tears. "And Elon," Marina turned to him, thank you for forgiving me. Thank you for being a father to a boy who wasn't biologically yours. Thank you for staying when you could have left. There's nowhere else I would be." "I know that now. I should have known it 18 years ago." Marina's eyes were drooping. The lucidity was fading. "I'm so tired." "Then rest," Elon said gently. "We'll be here when you wake up." "I don't think I'm going to wake up this time." "Mom." "It's okay, Kai. I'm ready. I'm not scared anymore." Marina's voice was barely a whisper now. "I love you both so much. Never forget that." "We love you too," they said together. Marina smiled one more time. Then her eyes closed and her breathing slowed. Elon and Kai sat on either side of her bed, each holding one of her hands. They stayed like that as the hours passed, as the sun set outside the hospital window, as the machines beeped their steady rhythm. Around midnight, the rhythm changed. The beeps came slower, farther apart. Kai looked at Elon with panic in his eyes. "Dad." "I'm here, I'm right here." Marina took one more breath, then another, then a third so soft they almost didn't hear it, and then nothing. The machines flatlined. Nurses rushed in, but Elon and Kai didn't move. They just held Marina's hands as doctors pronounced the time of death. Marina Castellanos was gone, but in her final weeks she'd given them both a gift. She'd brought them together. She'd made them a family. And even though she was gone, that family would endure. Elon pulled Kai into his arms as the young man broke down completely. "I've got you," Elon whispered. "I've got you, son. You're not alone." "She's gone, she's really gone." "I know, but we're still here, and we're going to get through this together, just like she wanted." They cried together in that hospital room, father and son, not by blood but by choice, as the woman who'd brought them together slipped away into whatever came next. Outside, the stars continued their ancient dance across the sky. Time moved forward, relentless and uncaring. But inside that room, two broken people held onto each other and decided that together they would find a way to heal. It wouldn't be easy, it wouldn't be quick, but they would do it together, because that's what family does. 6 months later, Kai stood in front of the MIT campus, looking up at the buildings with a mixture of excitement and grief. He deferred for a semester to handle his mother's estate and to grieve. Now, finally, he was here. Elon stood beside him, carrying one of Kai's suitcases. "You ready?" "I think so." Kai took a deep breath. "It feels weird, starting this new chapter without Mom." "She's still with you, in here." Elon tapped Kai's chest. "Every time you solve a problem or dream big or push yourself harder, that's her. That's the strength she gave you." "I miss her." "I know, I miss her too, but she'd want you here, chasing your dreams." They walked to Kai's dorm together, unpacked his things, met his roommate, a friendly kid from California who talked too much but seemed nice enough. When it was time for Elon to leave, they stood in the parking lot, neither quite ready to say goodbye. "I'll visit," Elon promised, "every few weeks, and you'll come to Texas for holidays, and we'll video call. You're not getting rid of me, kid." Kai laughed through tears. "Good, because I'm going to need help with my engineering homework." "You're smarter than I was at your age. You'll be fine." Elon pulled Kai into a hug. "I'm proud of you. Your mom would be proud of you. You know that, right?" "I know." "And Kai, about David Chen. If you ever decide you want to reach out to him, I'll support you. No judgment, no hurt feelings, your choice." Kai pulled back. "I've thought about it. I even drafted an email once, but I deleted it." "Why?" "Because I already have a father. You, and that's enough for me. Maybe someday I'll be curious again, but right now I'm good." Elon's eyes welled up. "Okay, but the door's always open if you change your mind." "I know, thank you, Dad." They hugged one more time. Then Elon got in his car and drove away, watching Kai in the rearview mirror until he couldn't see him anymore. As he drove back to Texas, Elon thought about the last 18 months, about finding Kai again, about Marina's confession, about choosing to be a father despite the DNA test, about watching Marina die, about learning that family isn't about blood, it's about showing up. His phone buzzed. A text from Kai. "Thanks for everything, Dad. Love you." Elon pulled over and typed back, "Love you too, son. Make me proud." Another text came through immediately. "I will. And Dad, Mom was right about one thing. You did change my life. Thank you for not giving up on me." Elon sat in his parked car and cried, happy tears this time, grateful tears. He'd lost 18 years with Kai. He'd lost Marina. He'd learned painful truths and faced difficult realities. But he'd gained something too, a son. A real relationship built on choice and love and commitment. It wasn't the family he'd imagined all those years ago, but it was real, and it was his. And maybe, Elon thought as he pulled back onto the highway, maybe that was enough. Maybe choosing each other day after day was the most powerful thing family could do. He drove toward home, toward the future, toward whatever came next. And for the first time in 18 years, he felt at peace. We hope this story touched your heart and reminded you of the power of forgiveness and family. We're curious, where are you listening from? Drop your country or city in the comments below. We love hearing from our viewers around the world. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you're helping us spread kindness and meaningful stories to people who need them. And don't go anywhere yet. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now for another powerful story that will inspire you. Thank you for watching, and remember, family is about who chooses to stay, not just who shares your blood.